Pro boxing fans here with Joe Gallagher. Joe, we're here in London, another fight week. So now you've done umpteenth of these 5 weeks. Just talk to me about how you're feeling.
Yeah, all good, mate. Like I said, we had a good journey down, no traffic for a change, and like we say, good to be here at Box Park, Wembley. Good press conference just finished now with Hosea Burton, Natasha Jonas. Really pleased to get Tasha out before Christmas, before the end of the year. She had that bit of a messing about in Liverpool less time, but she's out, she's fighting, and then obviously then we can crack on in 2022 and try and get her a world title shot.
Let's talk about that, because you've alluded to it, and I was going to ask you anyway, but that whole sort of drama that went on with Tasha Jonas, so you're just happy now that she's with the platform that you possibly can think of, that she's going to get fights now. She is going to get fights. She's going to be a lot more active than she might have been before.
Yeah, definitely 100%. I'm happy for Natasha. Natasha's happy, I'm happy, and that's what it's all about. That little saga and going back and forth, that's Natasha's story to tell at a time when she'll be ready to tell it. I'm just happy for her, because I just need a happy fighter coming in the gymnasium, and Natasha wasn't being happy and she was getting a little bit down, and I feel messed around a little bit, but for her to be back here now, you're seeing her up there on the stage there, speaking well, and obviously getting the opportunity in Sky to do some punditry work as well on the camera, so it's all good for her. She's been a great ambassador for female British boxing, being the first one to represent Britain at the Olympics, qualified for the Olympics. She's thinking what's best for her and her family and her daughter, and whatever Natasha chooses to do, I'll always support her. Not same with all the fighters in the gymnasium. At the end of the day, it's their decision.
When we look at Tasha and we look at the sort of the women's boxing in general, we saw on Saturday night what happened. Terry Harper fighting Alicia Baumgartner, and people calling upset. I think if people knew the boxing, they knew that Alicia was more of a threat than people thought she was. But it's alive and kicking, man. Like, I'm sure she wants to be back in the contention for a world title fight. Joe, how long realistically do you reckon that you can push Tasha to get into them big fights again?
Like I say, there's a lot of fights to happen between now, February, March next year. Obviously we've got Tessa Taylor that's out at the end of the month. You've seen with Terry Harper. I was really surprised when they made that fight. I thought they would have gone straight in the unification for the fight that they already made against the Korean girl, world champion, but she never did, and I thought, listen, they came with a game plan. She was a good fighter, so listen, some more spanners might get put in the works from now till then, so we'll just have to wait and see. But the main thing, Tasha's fighting now. She's got a platform and she'll be out, most probably they've promised her early 2022, and then hopefully then let's go and get that world title.
I need to talk about Hosea Burton. Great little press conference, great little respect shown by himself and Dan Azeez. Great fighters, and we know Hosea's been around for a long time. Wanted to ask you though, Richard Bolotnik's when he fought a couple of fights ago, have you tinkered anything, have you changed anything since that loss?
Yeah, listen, Hosea Burton, I thought himself spoke very well, as did Dan Azeez. We've got a fight today that they most probably look at, that they've done well with Dan Azeez. They've brought him through right, they've given him the right fights, the right times, had good wins in Sterling, Ricky Summers, and won the English title, defended it, and now they think, right, this is our push. And they most probably looked at Bolotnik, so Hosea Burton, and thought, right, Ophi's the kid that's out of the light heavyweights, the one that's ready for the taking. But if that's what they're banking on, they're usually mistaken. Hosea Burton, I think the thing with Hosea Burton is quite frustrating. We don't know what Hosea turns up till fight night, and we've seen in the past when he does turn up, the fight with Buglioni was, like I said, one of the best fights of the year. He's winning over Shinkwin, he's beat and knocked out cruiserweights. It's like he's exciting and can punch. He's really up for that. You can feel the conviction in the way that he spoke at the press at the top table, and Dan Azeez has come with lots of fire in the belly. He won't be denied, Hosea won't be denied, and for me this is the fight of the night on the card.
It feels that Hosea's been around for so long. When you look at that Buglioni fight, it was years ago, but realistically he wins on Saturday night. How many more levels has he got to go?
Well, Hosea Burton wins the British title. He's a two-time British light heavyweight champion, and I think his record then will be like 27-2. That's a good record, that, and hopefully shot European, world, whoever he puts himself right back in the mix again.
Interesting little setup on Saturday night, so good luck with your fighters. I just want to move away from your fighters quickly if you can. We've got some cruiserweights on the bill, and I just want to talk about the latest news that came out with Canelo Alvarez and the whole moving up to cruiserweight to fight Makabu. What do you make of Canelo? Fantastic, 11 months obviously of experience with Callum Smith, what happened there, but 11 months, cleaned out the division. Looks like he's going to miss a division to go to the cruiserweight and fight Makabu. What do you make of that?
I think the news that Don King signed him this morning was more interesting news, mate, to be honest. Hey, and I thought Don King was dead. The King has risen again, hasn't it? Didn't take Don long to get in there, did it? So, payday. So, yeah, listen, good fight in Makabu. Obviously, we've seen that when he fought Tony Bellew for the world title. He dropped Tony. Tony came back and caught him with a peach of a shot. And, yeah, a very good fight. Canelo plays boxing like chess. He makes the right moves at the right time, and he feels Makabu's the right opponent at that weight division for him to get a world title, but it'll be well thought out. I'm sure all the light heavyweights were all thinking, what about me, your Peter Biovs, your Bibbles, your Joe Smiths. But it's a huge step. It's a bit like the time when Sugar Ray Leonard stepped up to fight Donnie Lalonde, similar type of thing. But like you say, it's all right saying Makabu is the power, but as you've seen, it's very hard to hit Canelo. And Canelo is in our sparring with Sancho, who thinks fighting this weekend as well. So yeah, it's an interesting fight, but I'm more interested in the negotiations now with Don King involved, to be honest.
He came off the mark quick. Actually, talking about that division, I want to talk about your fighter, Callum Johnson, Jos Burton. What's going on? What's the latest in regards to talks? We've heard of obviously Callum Johnson fighting, but there's always talks, but there's nothing coming out at the moment.
Yeah, no, there's lots of talk. Like everything, there's lots of talk, and until you hear it from the horse's mouth, then we can't say anything. So that's it. Yeah, like I said, there's lots of talk. There's lots of talks for Callum Johnson for another world title fight as well. So he's a popular kid at the moment, and like I say, news should be following shortly.
Are we getting closer to an announcement? And that's what I want to ask you. Are we getting closer to an announcement?
If there's something to be announced, yeah, I'm sure there is. But like anything, things can fall apart at the last minute. So, like you know and I know, with boxing, nothing's guaranteed till the first bell rings. So this is just part of one of them things. So hopefully the news that's out there, hopefully there's truth to it and it comes off.
I just want to talk about a fight on Saturday night. I like to pick trainers' brains when it comes to fights that are happening anywhere, big fights. Terence Crawford, Shawn Porter, Saturday night. Give me your thoughts on that. What happens in that fight and who wins?
I think Shawn Porter's got to make it more difficult to fight than people give him credit for. Like Shawn Porter, he's never been afraid of a challenge or to step up. He always come with a good disciplined game plan with his father. They work very intensely together, and yeah, Shawn Porter, I'm not going to say Shawn Porter's got to win, but I do feel Shawn Porter's got to give Terence some problems that other fighters haven't been able to in the past. Obviously Terence Crawford on a good run of form, really beginning to be appreciated by the boxing public. Some people weren't sold on him. I remember watching Terence Crawford beat Ricky Burns up in Glasgow that time, and I thought, wow, what a good fight. And it's about time now. It's good that he's getting the praise. The fight we still want to see is Crawford and Spence. Hopefully that happens, but we can't overlook Shawn Porter on Saturday night. But I do feel it'll be a good fight, but I just think Crawford will just have, he's too much on a roll at the moment, and if he's the professional that we think he is, he won't overlook Shawn Porter, and he'll be coming fully prepared for a good fight.
In your head then, if that fight between, saying that Crawford wins on Saturday, that fight between Crawford and Spence, who wins that? Because we've had a long time to think about that fight. It's just never come into play, but if they were to fight, who wins that fight?
Well, I've always been Team Spence, always have been, until the car crash. Okay, I feel then from then injuries, being out of the ring, the run of form, stop-start, and since then Crawford's managed to take the baton and run with it, and he stole it at the time. If Spence wouldn't have had that and he would have been fighting regular and often, a lot of people would still be picking Spence over that. I do feel Crawford now with the momentum will most probably be a slight favourite for that fight, but it's a fight that I want to see. It's just a shame we look back at old fights like Leonard and Hearns in the prime having it. We're just a shame that I hope that fight doesn't become a Mayweather-Pacquiao one. We're not going to see the best of each other. Let's try and get that done 2022 May, June time. Let's try and get it done before they get any much more older.
Well, there you go, Joe. Any news about any of your other fighters? We know you've got a big stable. Is there anything coming out? I can't really think of much off the top of my head.
Paul Butler's out in Dubai fighting for the world title, December the 11th on a Probellium show at the Coca-Cola Arena. He's training against Casimiro, very good fighter. Let's just hope they're doing the drug test on him, and allegedly, but hopefully we've asked for drug tests to be put in place, so hopefully he abides by that. Yeah, no, it's a tough fight. Then obviously Natasha Jonas in the new year, Callum Johnson, who's had a good start, 3 fights already. hopefully maybe get out before the end of the year. Should have news today on that. Mark Heffron-Kate has joined me now. He came back with a good win. He was due to fight. He's got to be out early in the new year as well. So really looking forward now to a good 2022 and some big fights and some good prospects coming through as well.
Joe, it's always a pleasure talking to yourself. No doubt I'll bump into you very soon at some point. And good luck with your fights on Saturday night.
Yeah, cheers, thanks.